And we are back with the final segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. A little bit of a delay there, a little bit of a longer than normal break because, again, these guys, they keep trying to kick me out. But I have the room reserved, so I'm standing my ground, and I'm not moving until this thing is done. And it'll finish when I say it's finished. I just wanted to use that, what's that? The Breaking Bad reference. We're done when I say we're done. I love that show. But regardless, we're going to go right ahead and get into the next segment, which is going to be talking about the Knicks and the Sixers. So, a little bit of a funny story. The last home game that the Sixers played, it was bombarded by Knicks fans. The Knicks just took over that entire stadium. And it was just Knicks fans chanting and cheering them on. And ironically, that was the game that the Knicks ended up winning. And the Knicks ended up, they sort of, in a way, it felt like the Knicks had home court advantage specifically in that game 4, I believe it was. Yeah, in that game 4, it felt like they had home court advantage because, again, all the Knicks fans, they were just cheering on the Knicks as opposed to cheering for Philly, and it was literally their turf. And if you're a sports fanatic of any kind, and you follow any kind of sport, whether it be basketball, whether it be football, whether it be baseball, whether it be anything that Philly could be, that the city of Philadelphia or the state of Pennsylvania could be associated with, anything that is sports related with Pennsylvania, all of the fans, Philly specifically, all of their fans, they are die-hard fans. They are the craziest of the crazy fans. You look at Eagles fans, they're considered to be one of the craziest and the rowdies. You look at the Sixers fans, and a lot of them, they get a lot of backlash for how they talk down on Ben Simmons and things of that nature, and how they have a tendency of talking bad about their own players when their own players don't play well. And not only that, but Pittsburgh, that little, Steelers fans, they're Steelers fans to the core. And it's when you're from there, you have to be a Steelers fan. And if you're from Philly, you have to be an Eagles fan. And it's if they see anything other than Philly, they just barf. That's basically how a lot of Philly fanatics and how a lot of sports fans in Philly, they act. And obviously, having a bunch of trespassers, because that's how they see it. They see it as a bunch of people trespassing in on their territory, and they just cannot have that disrespect. So what's been going on recently is that Sixers owners have been buying tickets for Game 6. One Sixers owner, he bought over 2,000 Game 6 tickets just so he could avoid those tickets falling into Knicks fans' hands. Think about it. 2,000 tickets. 2,000 tickets he bought. And he's giving them away to Philly fans. Literally just giving them to people who are fans, who are Sixers fans, because they couldn't stand the fact that they literally just couldn't stand the fact that all of these Knicks fans were in their arena. And I'm just going to I'm going to see if I can find the exact tweet right now and what he said. Yes. So Josh Harris, David Blitzer, and David Adelman and Michael Rubin just bought more than 2,000 tickets for the Sixers Game 6. Michael Rubin, he tweeted this out. He said, We absolutely cannot let Knicks fans take over our arena again, giving them to first responders, healthcare professionals, and other local Philadelphia-based organizations once we know they're legit Sixers fans and not imposters. Let's go Sixers. We can do this. So they literally had to get their owners to give away tickets just so Sixers fans can go to this game to prevent the Knicks fans from going to this game. Like, if that doesn't scream New York runs through Philly, I do not know what does. If that doesn't scream New York runs through Philly, I do not know what does. Like, it's literally, there's proof in the pudding right there, to the point where it's like now the owners have to step in and give out the tickets to prevent something like that from happening. And it really shows, like, why am I bringing all of this up? It shows just how important home court advantage is in the postseason. It genuinely shows just how important it is. And especially like if you're the Knicks, because when you're the Knicks, you have to like deal with criticism from the media, you have to deal with criticism from your fans, you have to deal with criticism from everyone, everywhere, all the time in your own home stadium. So the fact that if you're a Knicks player, you were able to hear all of the Knicks fans in an away stadium cheering for you, that's without a doubt a confidence booster for the Knicks and their players, and it could have played into a big reason as to why they were even able to win in Game 4 in the first place. So home court advantage, it's a very crucial thing in this postseason, and it's so important that owners will literally step in to prevent their team from losing home court advantage. Like, that's just how important home court advantage really is in these postseasons. And like, I just find it amazing that it took literally 4 owners to step up and buy 2,000 tickets just so that way it could prevent the Knicks fans from bombarding the stadium. And honestly, I bet you that Knicks fans will still bombard that stadium. They'll still find a way to invade that stadium and cause even more mayhem for the Sixers and their fans. And that's really sort of been like the big story as of recently, because that there's circulating clips around it on TikTok. There's obviously like that tweet going out, and like it's just really interesting. Like that's sort of how that's the approach that these owners are taking to help their team win, and it really shows just how much Philly fans, how much their organization like actually matters to these Philly guys. Like it's a culture to the point where it's like you're from Philly, you have to bleed the organization's colors, and if you don't, you might as well not be one of them. It's really like if you're from Philly, obviously like it must sound like inspirational and it must sound amazing, but like when you're hearing it, the reason why I'm not so like enthralled by it is because I'm just get that away from me, because I'm on the opposite side of seeing all of the Philly stuff going on about, and considering the fact that I am a Giants fan and Nets fan and all of those things, we don't really like Philly teams. We don't like Phillies. We don't like any of them, and Yankees fan on top of that as well. So like bleh. But regardless, the next series on this list is the Bucks and the Pacers. So the Pacers, they have a little bit more of an advantage than the Knicks in closing out this series because they play this Game 6 in their home court. And when they play in Indiana, they just seem like a much better team. And they've literally won every single game in Indiana, so there's no real reason to think that they wouldn't win in Indiana, especially like they stole Game 2, which was a very surprising thing for me. And the fact that they did steal, like, they did lose in Game 5, which I thought was a winnable game, but they did also play in an away game in a hostile environment, so that could also, like, play into a little bit as to why this team sort of started to underperform a little bit. But regardless, like, I still think the Pacers, they have this series in the bag. I think this should be the nail in the coffin. Again, so far every single sports take that I've had has been just egregiously wrong. So I have the Pacers winning this game, but with how my picks have been going, the Bucks are probably going to win this game. And then we're going to have to see a Game 7, which is more playoff reviews. And I really want to move on to the next round now, but regardless, we gotta play this out. We gotta stick this one out till the end, till both of these game sixes are over, and it's really just down to these two teams. Well, these two series, if we're being in the Eastern Conference. I mean, the Magic and the Cavs, like, that series is still also going on, but not many people are really paying any kind of attention to it. Like I said, Paolo Banchero was averaging better numbers than Jason Tatum, and he did not get any kind of recognition for it whatsoever. So we'll see how this series goes. Again, I have the Bucks winning. I'm not the Bucks, the Pacers. Crap, I might have just ruined the jinx now. But I do have the Pacers winning, and so take with that what you will. If you want to say that the Bucks are winning, I don't blame you because my takes have been all wrong. And I have the Knicks winning, closing out in this game, even though, again, I'm not going to completely close off the fact that I might be wrong, especially with how the Knicks have been playing in these closeout games. But we'll see how the home court advantage works for the Sixers. We'll see if the plan to getting a bunch of Sixers fans in that stadium actually works. But with that out of the way, that's basically all I had to say regarding the playoffs. Make sure you tune into the playoffs later tonight, as they will be starting at 6:30 with the Bucks and the Pacers. And that's basically all I've got to say. So thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. As usual, please remember to use the link in the description to get your comments recognized, or the link displayed below the ticker on every single show segment. It is gsmcpodcast.net. Really helps the show, makes the show much more interactive between myself and you guys. That's all I have for you today. Thank you all once again. I am your host, Nelson, and tune into those playoff games. Hopefully the Knicks end up winning, but I'll see you all in the next time, and as always, take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to